Hey guys! Hi, how are you doing? Welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be showing you guys my everyday makeup look for 2021. So basically what I would do for an everyday basis, or kind of what I want the focus of my makeup looks to kind of resemble every day. So for 2021 I wanted to do something more feminine, like with pinks and light purples and just something more like soft and natural. So if this sounds like something you're interested in, then please keep on watching. Before we get started, make sure you guys subscribe down below for new videos on Sundays. And make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you end up liking it. And also make sure you hit the notification bell so you're notified every single time I upload a video. And with all that being said, let's jump into the video. I'm gonna start with the eyes today just because I'm not entirely sure what I want to do, but I am going to be using the Colorpop Blush Crush eyeshadow palette. The other palette I'm gonna be using is the Milani Pure Passions palette, mainly for this one pink shade right here, because while the Blush Crush palette is very pink in tone, it doesn't actually have a matte pink shade, which is something that I really want on the eyes. So I found that in the Pure Passion eyeshadow palette. It also has some nice shimmers that we might use. It just depends on how I'm kind of feeling for the look, but the look shouldn't be too hard to follow. Let's get started. I'm gonna prime the eyelids with the Wet n Wild Photofocus eyeshadow primer. You guys know this is my go-to. I just use it all the time. It keeps my eyeshadow from creasing, and it just works really, really well if you have oily skin. And it's super affordable, which is fantastic, so it doesn't break the bank. I have tried like 4 eyeshadow primers. None of them seemed to work until I tried this one. I just never looked back. I'm gonna set that with the number 7 translucent powder. Now, I don't use a tinted eyeshadow primer. You can totally do that if you have a lot of discoloration on your eyelids. It kind of just depends on the look I'm going for, because if I'm going like full glam, then I'll want to use a tinted eyeshadow primer, just so the look really pops. But if I'm just doing like everyday natural kind of a thing, I'll just use the Wet n Wild eyeshadow primer. Let's move in to eyeshadow. So the first color I'm gonna dip into is from the Blush Crush palette, and I am going to dip into Lovesick first, which is just this shade right here. And I'm gonna take that on a Morphe M573 brush, and I'm just gonna sweep this all across the lid. And also take it up a little bit above the crease as well. And we'll just put that in the transition area. So this color isn't really gonna show up very much. It just lays a firm foundation for all the eyeshadow we're going to put on top of it. Now I'm going to dip into the one, which is just this one right here. Let me tell you about the one. It's third book in the selection series. Oh my gosh. That one is like my guilty pleasure reading, because the writing is like, if you're younger, like about 13, the writing is like fantastic and it's great and everything's like hunky-dory. But then when you get older and you've read more like good, I mean, it's not bad, but like you've read more mature writing, then I think it kind of downgrades the writing a bit. But oh my gosh, that romance is my favorite. Like Maxon in America. They're just too good, too good. You should go read that series. I'm just gonna do about 2 layers, and I'm making sure this one stays more focused in the crease. And already you can kind of see it's looking a bit pink, so that's really good. Next I'm going to dip into Always Pink of Me from the Pure Passion palette, which is just that nice pink shade. And I'm just gonna pop that all over the lid. Okay, that looks really, really nice. I want to do like just a light sweep of shimmer on the eye, not anything like super intense. So I'm actually gonna use the Essence Pure Nude Highlighter. I'm gonna use the shade Lust and Luminous from the Pure Passion palette. And I'm gonna mix that with the Essence highlighter. And I'm not gonna use like a super dense brush to sweep it on the eyes because I just want a light application of color. So I am going to actually use this brush. Is the Wet n Wild, I believe, smudger brush. It's just like, it still has that nice shape of like the tapered edge, but it's flatter than like the fluffy brushes that we've just used. I really like these to apply like a light wash of shimmer and not like super intense pack on the glitter kind of a look. So I'm gonna mix those two and then I'll just sweep it across the eyes because I want something soft and delicate without being like super intense and crazy. So again, taking Lust and Luminous and the Pure Nude highlighter and just sweep that on the eyes. I really like using a brush that'll give you a softer application of the color just because it looks so like romantic and delicate versus, like I already said, like the pew in your face glitter. So I'm just gonna do that to the other eye. And then I'll just take Lust and Luminous and just sweep that across just to help build up that color a little bit. See, I don't know if you can tell on camera because it is so soft, but it makes your eyes kind of shimmer without it being like super noticeable, like, oh, she's definitely wearing eyeshadow, you know? I don't know, it just like, it just looks so good. So now I'm gonna dip back into the Blush Crush palette. You could also use Enamored, that's also a similar color. I just used Lust and Luminous for this one, but I think Enamored could totally work as well. Now I'm going to help define the eyes. So I'm gonna take a smaller brush. This is the Morphe M507. As you can tell, it's like super duper tiny. Very great for detail work. I'm gonna go into the Blush Crush palette and take Cheek to Cheek, which is just this shade in the middle right here. I'm gonna tap that into the bristles of the brush. And I am going to just focus this on the outer V of the eye. And this will just help define the eyes, but look super subtle at the same time. So don't go super duper intense with this, because that is not the goal. And using this precise brush can just help define the eye. And you can pull it out a little bit if you want to help give it more like a winged out kind of a look, but again, not super duper intense. And then I'll take that one brush we used and just blend it out a little bit just to help diffuse it in case there are any harsh lines, because we want it to be soft and romantic, not harsh, right? I'm gonna take the shade Late Date from the Pure Passion palette, and I'm gonna take that on a liner brush, and I'm just going to run it across the lash line just to help define the lashes a bit. And that is a pretty dark color, but it's not black. So like, we want to use more browns versus like black, because black is a very harsh color, whereas a brown is more softer and delicate. Obviously not like super delicate because it's like a darker brown, but that is the color we're gonna be using. And you want to get this as close to the lash line as possible. And see, that just helps make the eyes pop a little bit more without it being super duper noticeable. And if you feel like it's too intense, take that M507 brush and just buff it across the lash line to help diffuse that line a bit. And now do that to the other eye. So see, when you get it close to the lash line, as close as possible, it makes your lashes look thicker and fuller, which also helps create that like soft, flirty, romantic look. We will finish up the inner corner and the lower lash line later, but I don't want to like do that and then cover it up with foundation and concealer, right? So speaking of foundation and concealer, let us go in to foundation and concealer. Today, the only primer I'm going to be using is the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer, just to fill in the pores, just give a nice smooth look to the skin. For the like base primer, I used the Pacifica Kale Moisturizer that just kind of mattifies the skin, but it's still moisturizing and hydrating. With the e.l.f. primer, this one is like my go-to. And now I would usually use the Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation, but since I'm just filming today, I don't want to use it up when I'm going to take it off in like an hour anyways. So just know I would normally use that one because it just looks so good on my skin. But today I'm going to be using the Maybelline Matte and Poreless Foundation in the shade Fair Ivory. This one's a little bit pink toned on me, so it doesn't look the best, but we're just gonna work with it. Plus I need to use it up anyway, so then I'm gonna use my Morphe foundation brush and just blend this in. I also didn't do mascara yet because sometimes when you powder your face, it gets in your eyelashes and then it just looks like powdered eyelashes. Not the cutest look, so we're gonna do that when we finish up the lash line. Moving on to concealer. I'm gonna use the Revlon Photoready Candid Concealer. I like this one because it has more of a yellow tint and it's very thin, but it still covers a lot. So I'm just gonna dot that around the eyes. And the goal with this makeup look isn't to cover everything. We just want to help like enhance the normal features. Just start with a little concealer. You can always add more, but whenever you see like people do the giant triangles under their eyes, it's just, you don't need that much concealer. See, like I just did a little and I can see I still have a bit more redness, so I'm gonna add another dot and blend that out under the eyes. Plus, whenever you do like extra concealer, it creases the more concealer you use, and so probably like, why is my concealer creasing? Probably because you're using a ton of it. See, that already looks so much better, and I am just gonna use this also to cover up any like major blemishes, and then just do a little on the nose because I feel like the nose, just like the foundation always comes off the nose first. Especially because I have like allergies 24/7, and so I'm always like blowing my nose and it's very, very annoying. I'm also just gonna do a little bit on the chin because I do get like more red on the chin. And see, now our skin is more evened out, but it still looks like skin, and that's the goal. So now for powder, I'm just gonna use that number 7 powder that we used earlier. And first I'm gonna powder under the eyes, just tap out the eyes, just make sure that no creases have formed since we didn't set it. Powder and set under the eyes. Does anyone else make that like alien face though when they're blending out their concealer? Oh my gosh. Or like putting on mascara, you're like, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't think making different facial expressions really does anything, but I don't know. Maybe it does. Who knows? And then I'm just gonna take a fluffy brush and just set the rest of the face. Since we're not using any cream products today, we can go ahead and set the face with powder. And so now that the skin looks kind of matte and dull, we're going to take the Essence Pure Nude Highlighter and that same fluffy brush we just used for the powder and just dust this over the skin. What I like about the Essence highlighter is that even though it's like technically a highlighter, you can also use it as kind of like a finishing powder just to add some life back into the skin, which is like so nice. It's a multifunctional product. And who doesn't love that? And see, that just kind of adds a little bit of a healthier glow to the skin. For bronzer, I'm going to use the Milani Silky Matte Bronzing Powder in Sunlight. And just apply this to the perimeter of your face. I like this one because it sculpts and bronzes at the same time. Since it's more of a cooler tone bronzer, it just looks so good. And then also go under your jaw, and this will just help kind of sculpt out your face. Because we don't want a two-dimensional face, which is why we need the bronzer. It just adds the like dimension back into your face. It's kind of crazy, but so for blush, I'm gonna mix 2 blushes. That was 4. I'm gonna mix 2 blushes, and that is the Milani Tea Rose blush and the Physicians Formula Vintage Rouge. So this one's more of a pink tone, and this one is more of like a mauve-y kind of plum tone. So I am just gonna mix the 2. I'm just gonna use that dual fiber brush that I just love to use for blush. It just gives you the softest application of blush. And just apply this. Do a little bit on the nose. And that just makes it look sun-kissed, you know? Because the sun would normally hit like across here, and it just makes it look more youthful. Because obviously children are playing out in the sun and they're gonna get a bit more tanned. And then I'll just take what's left and brush a little bit of it just on the temples. Now for highlighter, I'm going to be using the Pixi and RachLoves highlighter palette, and I'm only going to be using the shade Clutch. I'm not gonna mix it with anything. I just think this shade just looks so nice, just plain on my skin. Make sure not to highlight that blemish, that would be bad. See, it just like absorbs into your skin tone, and it looks so good. And the best part is you can customize your own shade. So I can use Clutch by itself. Sometimes I'll mix it with lace. It just depends on the day. Do a little bit on the nose. I hate like the very, very shiny nose highlight. It just looks unnatural, but just a little highlight just to make the nose stand out a little bit. I think it looks so nice. And then I'll just take what's left on the brush and just dust it on the temples, and a little bit on the chin. Remember, anything you highlight will come forward, and anything you like contour will be pushed back. So you can really use that to kind of sculpt your face, and just kind of play around with it when you have time and just see what looks best on your face. I'm gonna go ahead and use setting spray. This is the Flower Beauty setting spray. I had to transfer it into a separate spray bottle because my nozzle broke and I didn't just want to like throw the whole thing away. So that's why it is not in the original package. So if you have any like excess powderiness, just use some setting spray and that should help. Okay, now let's finish up the eyes. For the eyebrows, I am going to be using the Essence Make Me Brow in the shade Brownie Brows. This has fibers in it, so it'll make your brows look really, really good and really full. So I do have like very full brows already. It just kind of depends on what I'm feeling that day. If I want to go for more of a bolder brow, or if I want more of like a subtle brow. And then I will always just take a spoolie and just run it through the brows, just because that product does clump sometimes. And we want the brows to look natural. We don't want them to look unnatural. Then you can also shape them how you want. I like to put more of an arch like right here, although still keep them pretty round, I think. That brow shape just looks best on me. So now let's move on to under the eyes. I'm going to dip into Lovesick, just on my flat Morphe M432 brush. And then I'm gonna take cheek to cheek and put it like right here and go back. And then I'll just take a spoolie and brush out the lashes under the eyes. I don't do a lower lash mascara because I think my lashes are long enough as it is. And if I added mascara, that would just make them like unnecessarily long for me. So if you do like lower lash mascara, go for it. I just am not one of those people. So now for the inner corner highlight, I'm just gonna use that Clutch shade we used on the face and just pop it in the inner corner. I love me a good inner corner highlight. I just think it just looks so good and it makes your eyes brighter. And now for mascara, I'm gonna be using the CoverGirl Lash Blast, the Lash Blast Volume Mascara. Whoa, that's a bit crazy. I'll just comb back through those with a spoolie. You guys know I just hate that like clumpy lash look. So now for the lips, I'm gonna use the NYX Slide On Glide On Stay On Lip Liner in Nude Suede Shoes with the Milani Keep It Full Lip Plumper in Champagne. I mentioned these two in my last video for my favorite makeup of 2020. If you haven't seen that video, I'll have it linked. I still don't know which side the thing's on. It'll pop up. So I'm gonna go ahead and line my lips. I think mine broke or something because I keep twisting it and nothing's coming up, but I bought it new, so should I just like try and sharpen it? Well, that worked. Okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and line my lips and I will be right back. Okay, so I just also blended it across the lips and I'm going to just top it off with the Milani lip gloss. Doesn't that just look so nice? It's like peachy but pink, but nice and glossy. So pretty. So this is the final look. This is kind of gonna be my go-to makeup look for 2021. Just soft, romantic, feminine, and it's not over the top. So like you could wear this if you're going out on a date or I don't know, just every day. You can't really tell on camera too much that the eyes are like a little shimmery, but you can tell in person. But man, it just looks so good. Thank you guys for sticking around and watching this video. Make sure you guys subscribe down below, hit the red button, turn on the notification bell so you're notified every single time I post a video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and comment down below what you think of the look. And if you want to see more videos from me, I'll have them linked in whichever side the iCard's on. So just click the iCard and you can browse some of my other videos. And make sure to follow me on Instagram at justjade_beauty for behind the scenes, when I'm gonna be posting a video, and the final look. Make sure to do that. And with all that being said, I will see you guys in my next video. Ciao, bellas!